Did you hear about the frog that took a DNA test? The results showed that he was part Irish, part German, and a tad Polish. There it is, guys. There's your joke for the day. Did you get it? Smash that like button if you didn't get it. Be honest, you didn't get it, did you? You need my help. So let's break it down, okay? So a frog, okay, got his DNA tested. What does DNA mean? DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. In case you were wondering. You weren't wondering, were you? Give me a like if you weren't wondering. DNA. Okay? Most people just use this term DNA. They don't even know this. Did you know this? Do you know how to say it? Deoxyribonucleic acid. That's a mouthful. That's a mouthful. Okay? If there's a word or a phrase that's hard to say, you can try to say it and then say the phrase, that's a mouthful. Okay? So deoxyribonucleic acid. That's a mouthful. Okay? So yeah, it's a big word. It's just DNA, guys. It's just this stuff in your body. These little things in your body. Just, I don't know. Just floating around in your body somewhere. Do you have DNA? I think I have some somewhere. I don't know if I have DNA, guys. I think I do. So, ancestry. Do you know this word? That's why a lot of people do DNA tests. They want to know their ancestry. Do you know your ancestry? Okay, so the word ancestry means, the people. It means your ancestors, like your grandparents and great grandparents and great 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 grandparents. I mean, where were they from? Okay, I mean, maybe your grandpa was Irish and your grandma was German. Okay, that would mean you are part Irish and part German. Okay, so a lot of people want to know their ancestry. Let me know, what's your ancestry? I'm interested to know, guys. Let me know down in the comments. So I did a DNA test a few years ago to find out my ancestry. My ancestry is not too exciting. It's all from Central Europe. So I'm basically Germanic. Just all my ancestors are from Germany, Netherlands, that area. But a lot of people have a really diverse ancestry. They might be like, part Chinese, part Sudanese, part Lebanese, part, I don't know, what else? People could have a lot of different, if there's a lot of intermarriage in their family in the past, I mean, they might be part this, part that, part that, part that. So we use the word part. Right? You could say I'm now if it's exactly 50-50, then you could say I'm half Japanese, half Australian. Okay? Or I'm quarter this, quarter this, quarter that. But a lot of people don't know exactly if it's half or quarter, so they would just use the word part. You could say I'm part this or part that. It's the same for animals too, like for dogs. There are different breeds of dogs, right? So you might have a dog, and your dog might be part poodle, part Doberman, or I don't know, whatever weird mix of different, So anyway, that's what ancestry means. We're talking about the past. Okay, so this frog, in this joke, we're talking about a frog. Okay, so the frog took a DNA test, and the results showed that he was part Irish, part German, and a tad Polish. Right, that's the end of the joke. Now, tad. What does tad mean? Tad means just a little bit. Okay? A very small amount. Like if someone asks you, okay, would you like milk in your tea? You could say, just a tad. Just a tad. Okay? That means you have your cup of tea and they'll just put in just a little bit of milk. Just a tad. Okay? So, the results, showed that this frog was, let's say 50% Irish. All right. Are we recording, guys? Yes, we are. Thank you for joining me. So maybe let's say 50% Irish, 48% German, and like 2% Polish. Okay? So just a tad Polish, right? Not a lot Polish, not like 20-30%, just a tad, maybe 2% Polish. Maybe one relative way back in their ancestry, way back in their family tree somewhere, there was one person from Poland, maybe. Okay, so look at this. Which part of this is funny? Which part do you think is the funny part? What does this have to do with frogs? Okay, is this part funny? Part Irish? Is there anything funny about this? No, there's nothing funny about that. What about part German? No, there's nothing funny about that. A tad Polish. So we can predict that the funny part of the joke is right at the end, this part here. And that's how most jokes work. So most jokes, in English anyway, most jokes have the funny part of the joke right at the end. The last line of the joke is called the punchline. The punchline. Okay? So this is the funny part here. A tad Polish. Okay, you know why is it funny? It's because a baby frog is called a tadpole. Okay? Tadpole sounds like tad Polish. All right, so the joke is about the frog's ancestry. And a baby frog is called a tadpole. All right, did you know that? So, yeah. So, if we look at the life cycle of a frog, okay, first the frog is an egg, and then the egg hatches, and it becomes a tadpole. And then the tadpole grows legs, all right? Got 2 legs here, and then maybe another one comes out, and it jumps up onto this leaf, and then it just becomes an adult frog, and it just sits on this leaf for the rest of its life. Okay? So that's the frog's life cycle. All right? Now notice that part of the frog's life is in the water. All right? And part of the frog's life is on the land. So a frog can live in the water and on land. What do we call that in English? There's a kind of animal. Some animals can be in the water and on land. Okay, and there's a specific category of animals that there's a special name for these kind of animals. Okay, the word is amphibian. Amphibian. So amphibians are both aquatic and terrestrial. Okay, aquatic means water. This word, aqua, aquatic. Aquatic animals can live in the water. Amphibians live in the water, but they can also live on the land. Terrestrial. They are terrestrial animals. Are you a terrestrial animal, or are you an aquatic animal? I'm a terrestrial animal, guys. So, yeah, those are called amphibians. Now, I Googled a picture of amphibians. This is what I got on Google. I don't know if all these are right. But you can see it's not just frogs. All right? There are kind of these lizard creatures. Sometimes, it could be like a snake, maybe. I don't know. I'm not a science teacher. This isn't a science lesson, so I don't know really what exactly makes an animal an amphibian or not, but just pay attention to the fact that amphibians kind of look like this. We're not talking about any animal that lives in the water and the land. Like a lot of animals could spend time in the water, right? And spend time on land. Like hippos. Okay, hippos spend a lot of time in the water. Hippos also spend a lot of time on land. Are they amphibians? No, they're not amphibians. So when we use the word amphibian, we're particularly talking about these kinds of like animals, frogs and stuff. Now look at this vehicle. How would you describe this vehicle? What's it called? The answer is it's an amphibious vehicle. Okay? It's an amphibious. So notice this is an adjective here. Amphibious vehicle. So the reason it's called an amphibious vehicle is because it can go on water and on land. All right, so it's some sort of a military vehicle. I don't know what its purpose is, but they exist. Okay, vehicles like this exist in militaries, okay? Sometimes I guess they need vehicles that could go on the water and then drive onto land. I don't know. So they're amphibious vehicles, okay? So there's the joke, guys. The results show that he was part, right? The frog was part Irish, part German, and a tad Polish. A tad Polish, tadpole. All right, that's why it's funny. There it is, guys. So, are you aquatic or terrestrial, guys? Let me know your answer to the question. Like, some people, they love water, right? If you are a water lover, you know, you're always going swimming or surfing or diving or I don't know, then you could say I'm an aquatic creature. I'm an aquatic creature. But for me, guys, I'm a terrestrial creature. I like to be on the land. I'm not really a water guy. So there's your joke, guys. Let me know. Would you like me to explain more jokes in English? If so, let me know down in the comments. Thank you guys for always smashing that like button, for all your nice comments and support. As always, I love you very much. Hope you're doing great today. Hope you're staying safe, healthy, and happy wherever you are. All right. Well, as always, I'll see you over in the next episode of Mad English TV. Take care.